I remember the monster, the feeling of pain radiating down the side of my face, sniffling back blood and swallowing it. Thinking about how I would explain the marks if someone asked me at school. I remember the fear and the anger and the shame. I mostly remember wishing that I could forget. When I was a little girl, I had the best mom. She brushed my hair in slow, smooth strokes. She stayed home so she could take us to school with warm breakfast in our bellies and picked us up with a welcome smile, a hug, and some homemade cookies in her purse. I was always so proud when I saw her standing there talking to Rose, the crossing guard. She was beautiful and impeccably dressed, and she smelled like leather and spearmint. And while the other kids took a lonely walk home, my mom was ever present. In 100-degree heat waves, 9-degree whiteouts, she was always there for me, smiling. I remember feeling like the luckiest girl alive. We walked everywhere, to school, to the store, and when it was too far, she would call a yellow taxi cab. It was fun. It was an adventure with her. I watched her put on her makeup every day, memorizing her little routines, mimicking her in the mirror as she made that silly face that we all make when we put on mascara. I followed her so closely as her hands picked out my clothes, teaching me about patterns and textures and fabrics and prints. Was there anything that my mom didn't know how to do? I noticed that other kids had nice cars. They lived in nicer neighborhoods, but they didn't look like I did. They were all sloppy in Wrangler jeans and dirty Puma sneakers, hair chopped and messy. Their lunch boxes were loaded with junk food. Bologna sandwiches on Wonder Bread, chips, store-bought cookies. My lunches were extravagant. Homemade meatball sandwiches, still warm, double wrapped in foil to keep their heat through the day, a beautiful sugar cookie rolled by her perfect hands, and a love note every day with X's and O's and I love you in a silly face. At dinner time, my mom never ate. She watched us eat, and she sipped on her daily staples, Diet Coke, cold coffee, or tea. Sometimes she ate white rice and soy sauce, while we feasted on indulgent meals that she would cook for us. Often she would finish up what we left in our plates, and I thought that was really funny. I remember being young and happy and believing that my mom was the best mom ever. And when the pain was too much to bear, I would lose myself in those small moments. The times we would dance around and sing while trouncing through huge piles of East Coast fall leaves. Through every day, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. I would picture her in her beret and her leather jacket, corduroy gaucho pants and 70s Cordovan knee-high boots, spinning and laughing, holding hands in the sun with our mouths wide open. As she tore into my head, ripping out handfuls of hair and shouting until my ears rung. I would retreat to the days where she would sit behind me and brush that hair so gently, stopping at the slightest tangle as to not let me flinch. As she spat on me and called me horrible names, I remember how it felt to be comforted by her when I was sick. Nights that she spoon-fed me and lay vigil on the floor, cleaning up vomit-stained sheets, snotty noses, all the while telling me how much she loved me. Painstakingly painting calamine lotion on every single chicken pock on my body so my skin wouldn't scar. Where was that mom? Who was this monster? And why did she hate me so much? What did I do? She never came back, the old mom. The monster took over. We never ate fresh tomato sandwiches on the porch or laughed in the yellow taxi cab again. and the beatings got much worse, became much more unexpected. I remember looking up into her eyes when she would hit me, and I wondered if she was still in there somewhere. I remember one day being punched in the head so hard that everything stopped for a minute, and I fainted. You see, all of those years, those happy years spinning in the leaves, we were poor. My mother never let us bear the truth of our poverty. She ate off of our plates because she was hungry. We walked everywhere because we had no car. She walked with us because we lived in the ghetto. Trapped in her marriage and suffering from a mental disorder that she did not know that she had, she really tried. And somehow she pulled herself together enough to give us a childhood that every single kid I know could just wish for. But she couldn't hold it together. She fell apart. As the stress of poverty and unfulfilled dreams consumed her, so did her hatred for my father, for their predicament, for forcing a marriage from a pregnancy, and for the college scholarship to Juilliard that she forfeited. Her mental illness spiraled out of control completely, and I lost her. I lost her forever. At 35, I became a mom unintentionally. I never wanted to be a mom, for fear that this monster lived inside of me too. For fear that I would lose myself, inside myself, and never find myself again the way she did. I would never, ever, ever have a child. And I did a fantastic job avoiding parenthood, excuse me. Great job avoiding that for 35 years. But he found a way. He came here even though I asked him not to. He fought for his life when he was born because he had to be my son. He had to be here to teach me that I do not have to live in my mother's shadow, that I can love, that I can be loved. And today when I look into his beautiful blue eyes, I see my reflection. I see the purity and open trust that was taken from me. When he is afraid, I comfort him. I hold his perfect, beautiful face in my hands, and I tell him that it will be okay. I help him understand that in real life, monsters don't exist unless we let them, unless we give them a space inside of us. And each time I tell him that, a little part believes in me, believes it just a little bit more too. Thank you.